I'm trying to build this and I'm trying to do it for our family, but yet you're tearing down your family, but you're saying it's all for your family. I had someone on the phone with me the other day asking about me getting off work at 4 every day and not working on the weekends, and how do you do that? Do some of the things I did that I waited too long to do quicker so your relationship can be better. Hey everybody, my name is Jacob Godar, and my channel helps contractors deliver and clients experience a luxurious everyday life through property transformations. Today, we're talking about a huge topic. You have to stay around for this whole thing, because watching and learning and realizing that other people can be vulnerable, that business is scary, that it is a strain on your relationship, it can cause resentment in friendships, that there are all these challenges, but on the other side can be a whole different picture. We're going to go on through this whole thing. We're going to hit on these points. We're going to hit on some of the challenges that you can come into place with and some of the things you're going to have to deal with. We're going to talk about some of the ways around a relationship we can work towards bettering this and moving through, and then what this can look like on the win on the other side. Get right into this. Business is scary. Going into business and operating, Tony Robbins saying that being a business owner is like being a gladiator, because you're competing in something that it never actually gets easier. You just evolve and can take on more and more and more and more. And just like a gladiator, the longer and the more you go out, the more chances there are for you to die. So you have to be wired a certain way for that. Some of the things that this can bring is total scarcity or fear with money and time and time lost. It can take tons of your time to create and to nurture and to build a business and to pull it up from the bottom and to get to a place where it is really, really cool. And the crazy thing is, you can pull it up from the bottom, get to a place that is cool, and then still pull it up from the bottom, get in a stressful place again. Like, there's all these little plateaus and levels of your business. It can cause a ton of resentment in relationships. It can cause you to resent your wife, and it can cause your wife or partner to resent you because they may have not signed up for this. And your vision may not be clear that when you got into business that you were going to spend all your time and focus on this for the vision of a brighter future. You were maybe going to get kind of carried away with this and caught up in creating this. So it can cause tons of resentment, and it'll definitely show you who's your friends and who's not your friends. Typically, people go into business with a ton of friends, and people look at people that they just party with or have a good time with as friends. And then you'll realize, the second that I remember the fun, Jacob. I really knew it was happening then. As loud and crazy as I am now, I was still way loud and crazy back in my partying days and my having a fun time days. And I can still go out and have a heck of a good time, but my focus has become so much more centered on the things I really want to achieve in my life. But there was the perfect example of, you potentially can start to feel lonely. Once you start really pushing towards growing, not many people around you are doing that. I read a meme that it said, if the definition of success is a Ferrari, that's because it's got 2 seats. A bus has 56. When you really push to get successful, there's not probably going to be many friends left. And when you're not doing that, you've got everybody in the world wanting to be on that party bus with you and have a good time. And yes, you're going to have friends, but it's going to push you into an area, if you're going into massive growth, of hyper focus, hyper pushing. This is meaningful for you to know, but it's even more meaningful when it gets into your actual relationship. Because what happens here in these businesses is we get going and we get wound up. I don't care if you're a male or a female, you get energized by creating something. And when you see that it's starting to move forward, you get more and more energized. Really, the people that succeed get laser focused, bore in 100%, and they can block things off. It's probably one of the things that aggravates my wife the most, is my ability to just focus on something and pay attention to nothing else. That's a lot of why I've been successful in business. I can focus on a task with the world falling apart around me and not care about anything else and just focus on that task. Partners didn't necessarily sign up for someone who is a workaholic, for someone who's wanting to grow a business. And a lot of times we don't do a good enough job expressing what it is that we're trying to create. What's the future look like? When me and my wife started, she didn't really see what it was I was trying to create. It didn't really make sense to her. All she knew is her husband was going a million miles an hour trying to build something that at that time, she didn't even really know what we could build. A little bit of me, I didn't even know what we could build, but I knew I wanted to go big. And that's how I remain. So this is really important for couples, and I want to talk about along the way some of the things you can do and get to the places and do some of the things I did that I waited too long to do quicker, so your relationship can be better, whatever you've got going on with your partner. One of the first things that with your partnership, with your relationship, and really with everybody, is you need to be open. Especially with a person, though, that you go to bed with at night. That person is of utmost importance. Any kids, if you have them, they might not know the mission you're on or know where it's going. And the thing that's biggest for me that I can't push enough is be willing to make changes. Everybody gets stuck in your ways. I always say after a certain age, people just want to not change. But men in general and people and business owners, usually if you're a business owner, you're hard-headed because you want to just go out and prove something. And it might make it really hard to change because you're like, I'm trying to build this and I'm trying to do it for our family, but yet you're tearing down your family, but you're saying it's all for your family. And you can't really understand why people don't like that. I didn't understand why my wife might not be on board, because I'm going to do something that's going to make us have a better life, become wealthy, build life and future for others. So you need to be able to listen, be able to make changes. And something that I suggest that helped us 100-fold is get a therapist. Look into couples counseling. Look into outside help. Realize and understand why the person that you're spending the most time with isn't necessarily feeling what you're feeling and doesn't understand what you're doing. The tools to help you navigate that. Definition of insanity: trying the same thing over and over and over and over again, hoping for a different result. And that's what I a lot of times realized I was doing in my relationship, is I was running a million miles an hour in my business, hoping that I was going to prove that this was worth it, when really I just needed to make changes. I needed to be more open. I needed to be able to talk to someone. I needed to really focus on being 100% wherever I was. Even if I spent a lot of time on business, I was going to be 100% there. And then when I went to family time, I was going to be 100% there as well. So really being intentional with your time and making sure, even if the time is smaller than you really want it to be at this point, making sure it is quality time. So going on with all this, I just know, and I see so many people that get stressed out. A partner resents you for going into business and spending all this time because they don't see what it's worth. And you start to resent them because you're like, why don't you freaking understand what I'm doing here? I'm going to change the world. And it starts spiraling up a problem that you have to figure out. Like, how my relationship is at home is how well I perform at work. So when things are in shambles at home, I don't perform as well at work because my mind is focusing on those problems. It's taking some of my bandwidth, and some of the potential I have to operate at a higher level is getting spent on worrying about what's at home. Something Sean Whalen says, and that is, never stop dating your person. Never stop going on dates and really trying to court them. And that goes right along with something Tony Robbins always says, is if you treat every day like the beginning of a relationship, there would never be an end of a relationship. If you don't nurture your business, it will die. If you don't nurture your relationship, it will die as well. You need to continue putting focus on both things, putting it in the business and not forgetting about your partner. And I guarantee if you focus on your partner and you make sure your stuff at home is better, your business will be better as well. I can't tell you how much time I didn't do this, and I just ground. And some of the stuff in my life that has happened, along with going to conferences and educating myself and couples therapy and just being open-minded in general, have taken my life to a place that's tenfold better than it was ever. Everything you can do along the way to enjoy the ride, because most of the stuff in business is not about the destination. It's about the journey, enjoying this journey, making sure that you're doing everything you can to have a full life with your wife, your partner, your kids, and be fully engaged in your business and create and establish an amazing life where you're nurturing everything. I don't want 100% of a business. I don't want 100% of my fitness. I want 100% of it all. That's the kind of attitude you have to have. So on the flip side, on the backside of all these things I've learned, I now have a wife that's on board with my vision that helps me create and be creative every day. Life full of opportunity, freedom to do more of what I want to do. I had someone on the phone with me the other day asking about me getting off work at 4 every day and not working on the weekends, and how do you do that during the busy season? Well, get a team in place and establish them and work towards being more profitable and work towards having more time so I can focus on bigger and bigger tasks that change the business or change my life, which inherently changes the business. So if I go home and I make sure that my life and my family is in order, all of a sudden my business becomes more in order because it's supported by a solid foundation that I lean against, my support system. It's done so much on allowing me to grow, expand, do more, have the life I want to have, and be able to have more time actively and consciously focusing on the things that make the biggest changes. Because if you get in that rat race of just grinding and grinding and grinding to make your business a little bit better, and you lose focus of everything, it's kind of like going a million miles an hour and never maintaining your equipment. That only lasts for so long before it all crumbles. And the same thing will happen if you don't nurture your business and nurture your life and family and partner. So I can't emphasize enough, I just wanted to be vulnerable about some of the things that had happened to me, some of the shit that it made me want to pull out my hair. Maybe that's why I don't have as much hair. I used to have a lot more hair, same amount of energy. The energy stayed the same. I want to show everyone that this stuff's real and it is a real challenge, and this stuff happens to everyone. Look into couples therapy. Never stop dating your person. Do your best to treat every day like the first date, because if you always were dating them, there would never be an end. Be intentional about the things that show that you care about people, and do all of this with the intent that as you enjoy the journey, because you're going to keep finding new places where you're hoping you were going to get to, and then you're going to keep going through this phase of grind, plateau, be happy, grind, plateau, be happy. You want to enjoy that whole ride the whole way up, and you don't want to lose the most important support that you could ever have as a family along the way. And there's times where family is truly, it's bad and relationships don't work. Question yourself and look at your relationship. Is this actually something that I shouldn't be involved in? Or is this just 100% somebody didn't sign up? Everyone, leave your comments below. Tell me about your relationship, the struggles you have got over, the struggles you're still in, and everything in between, because this is really, really powerful that more and more people share this, and that they see other people are going through the same challenges and no one is alone. Go out there, everyone, kick some ass, date your partner, and have a good time along the way. See you soon.